Welcome, everybody. This is the Rotary E-club of Silicon Valley, and every week we strive to bring speakers to our club who will inspire us in some way. That can be in the general space of service to others. As you may well know, the motto of Rotary is service above self. We have a special interest in our club in innovation, entrepreneurship, and education. And it is always exciting for us to find ways to share the messages that we come across with Rotarians around the world. Today, to introduce our speaker, I want to hand it over to our member just outside of Zurich, and that would be Alexandra Heller. So Alexandra, please take the floor.
Thank you, Rushton. I'm very pleased to briefly introduce Natalia. She currently serves as Club Foundation Chair of the Rotary E-club of Russia and will become Club President next year. A fun fact about Natalia, in 2018, she completed her training to do dogs-assisted therapy for the elderly and children. Being born in Moscow, Russia, she now lives in Switzerland, and this is also the place where she and her husband decided to embark on a world cruise. What happened next, and how is Rotary involved? Natalia will answer these questions in her presentation. Members and guests, please welcome Natalia Krucker. Natalia, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Alexandra, and hello, everyone. I'm glad to be today a guest of your club, and today I will tell you a short story about how a world cruise brought international service clubs together. Everything started in 2019 with my retirement, and in 2020 my husband and I decided to make a 4-month trip around the world by ship, starting in January 2020 in Venice. From there, it should go over the Mediterranean, the Atlantic, through the Panama Canal to Chile, to the Easter Island, to Tahiti, New Zealand, Australia, Japan, Korea, China, Vietnam, India, and finally through the Suez Canal back to the port of destination, Venice. It was the plan, but the reality was a little bit different. I assumed that some Rotary members were among the 2,500 passengers, but how to find them? First of all, I tried to wear t-shirts on excursions, t-shirts with Rotary logo, but I failed. Nobody approached me with a question, why are you wearing Rotary logo? I am Rotarian as well. And then I posted a notice on the blackboard. 2 Rotarians from Germany, from the Rotary Club of Achim and Rotary Club of Schleswig-Gottorf, were the first to contact me. And we decided to hold regular meetings during the trip and as well to invite members of other service clubs. Our next attempt was to convince the administration of the ship to provide us a room for a meeting and to publish a notice in the daily newspaper. Therefore, we came to the meeting of about 30 different people. And even we received an attendance card signed by the captain. Later on, further members from Rotary, Lions, and Kiwanis clubs from Australia, Germany, France, Italy, Austria, and Switzerland joined us. The exchange about similarities and differences between our organizations and cultures became a part of international understanding. The world outside of our ship was changing more and more, so that we had to deviate from the originally planned Asia route. When the first corona cases were as well registered in New Zealand and Australia, our ship started its way back to Europe via the Indian Ocean and the Suez Canal. Meanwhile, Our clubs in our hometowns carried out a variety of anti-COVID projects. The Lions in Vienna organized a grocery delivery service for elderly residents, while in my Russian district 2223, many clubs participated in a global grant to purchase efficient disinfection lamps for hospitals, kindergartens, waiting rooms, etc. On 23rd of February, my new friends and I celebrated Rotary birthday with a quiz about Rotary. And surprise, surprise, the winner of the quiz was a member of a Lions club from Italy. Due to the pandemic, the topics of online meetings or whether and how e-clubs carry out projects were of completely new interest to many friends from terra clubs of our group. As a member of an active e-club, I was able to report firsthand and demonstrate the advantages of online meetings using our club's WhatsApp group. I was able to take part in some club meetings during the cruise via this online platform. And that was the highlight of the trip for me, I was able to meet in person one of our members who lives in Melbourne, Australia. The pandemic was spreading very fast, and our captain decided that nobody should go on shore. Last 5 weeks, we spent without contact to the outside world. And our last meeting we had at the middle of April, and our guest speaker was Captain Nicolo Alba. At the end of April, we finally entered the port of Genoa without any case of COVID on board. Even if the trip didn't go as planned, it broadened our horizons in a special way. And who would have thought that my new friends would now be attending online meeting in their own terra clubs? Before the outbreak of the pandemic, members of our 3 service organizations, Rotary, Lions, and Venice, boarded this cruise ship without knowing each other. At the end of the trip, we returned as friends to the world, which was different. At the end of my presentation, I would like to thank my husband, Ivo Krucker, without whom this unique travel experience would not be possible, and who provided all the pictures of the nice destinations and our meetings with other service club members. Closing presentation, I would like to invite you and other members of your club to visit website of my eClub of Russia. We are Russian-speaking club, therefore everything is in Russian there, but using some online translator such as Google Translator, you will get us know better. Our members live in different cities and different countries. Most of the members live in different cities of Russia, but we have as well members who live in the US, Montenegro, Germany, Switzerland, Australia. Some of our members are fluent in English, and we will be very glad if you will be guests of our club. Thank you for your attention, and I'm ready to answer your questions.
Wonderful, Natalia. Thank you so much. What we'll do to start with is just introduce who is on our recording. And so when I call your name, please wave at the camera. We have in Texas, Rory and perhaps Fluffy. Thumbs up if I got that right. Very good, good, good. We have near Zurich, we have Alexandra, who also introduced our speaker. In Fremont, we have Sandy, one of our California people. Another California people here on out. We have Cecilia, who is in Sunnyvale. We have Ferheen in Santa Clara, and we have the club Paella Master, Shags, who is in Walnut Creek. My name is Rushton Hurley. I am in San Jose, and what we will do is we'll start with the first question from Alexandra. So Alexandra, get us started.
Thank you, Rushton. Thank you very much, Natalia. I can imagine that some Rotarians or guests who are watching this recording would like to learn more about Rotary in Russia. Would you kindly share with us some of your thoughts about how Rotary might be different in Russia compared to other countries?
I will start that Rotary is different in any country. But of course, the Rotary clubs in Russia have their peculiarities. So first of all, Russia is a very big country, but we have only about 70 Rotary clubs and about 1,200 Rotarians here. As compared with some, let's say, German-speaking countries, which I know the most, like Switzerland, Germany, Austria, Russian Rotarians are much younger. Most of them are still working. We have very few retired people. And the other fact is that Rotary in Russia really reflects the gender structure of the society. It's about 40%, 45, I think, % female members in Russian Rotary clubs. And for Russian Rotarians, the most important thing about Rotary is service and fellowship. That is in short.
Excellent. Thank you. Ferheen, I believe you have a question.
Yes, Natalia, thank you so much for your presentation. I really enjoyed, of course, like seeing the adventure and then also seeing the connection that you had with all of the other service clubs. And my question stems from that. Are you still in contact with these individuals, and are you potentially thinking about doing a collaborative international project with them? Because I feel like that would be very fun.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, I'm still in contact, especially with German-speaking Rotarians. We had a contact after the end of our adventure because we shared all the pictures my husband made during our meetings with everybody who was in our group. And then I have some feedback and correspondence with Lions members in Australia. They also had their own advantages traveling from one side of Australia back home to the East Coast. And I still have correspondence with German Rotarians who came back to their terror clubs and also have some challenges with families, etc. We didn't speak about joint projects, but I am invited to visit my friends in all the countries close to Switzerland, like France and Austria and Germany, but currently it's absolutely impossible because the borders are closed. Then when by personal visits, it could be discuss some projects, joint projects.
All right, Cecilia, I believe you are next.
Yes, so Natalia, you said that no one on board your ship contracted COVID while you were on the journey, and I assume that it's to the credit of the captain.
Yes.
That, you know, when he obviously wouldn't let anyone go ashore, that would prevent any transmission that was not already on the ship. But were you aware that there were a number of cruise ships even trying to come back to the US that had 150 people with COVID on them, and our government parked them 25 kilometers offshore until they could bring them in and give them the proper testing and everything?
Yes, you're right. The fact that on our ship we didn't have any cases of COVID is thanks to the strict policy of our Captain Nicolo Alba. And therefore, at our last meeting, our group, we gave him a letter of a thank you letter signed by all of us, because you can imagine among 2,500 passengers, the people are different. Not everybody was happy that the promised excursions were not realized. And the last 5 weeks, basically, we saw the interest in destinations only from the ship, from a distance. And many people complained, but we understood that it was the only right way to do as it was done. Therefore, we heard, of course, about other unfortunate cases on the cruise ship, and we are grateful to our captain that, thanks to him, everybody came safe back home.
Sure. I'm surprised in a way that they let you disembark in Genoa, because at that time, Italy was on a complete and total lockdown where people could not even leave their houses, really. So, you know, it must have been a shock to come back to what you returned to. I had been in Ethiopia until the end of March with the Peace Corps, which is a US government organization, and they evacuated all Peace Corps volunteers worldwide back to the US like March 15th, just like that. And I came back and I'm thinking, oh, well, this will pass and I will go back. And I'm still here. It was really a kind of, wouldn't even say it was shocking to return to this, but it took a while to realize just how serious it was.
Yes, we realized it already on the way, because Costa Deliciosa, it is an Italian ship. And of course, in Italy, the situation was one of the worst in the whole Europe. Yes. And we understood that Italian guests, they were not all of them were lucky that everybody in their families stayed healthy. But our return was at the end of April. It was not as bad as, let's say, mid of March. Yeah. And our return, because we could only return to Italian port, being an Italian ship. We had a short stop at Barcelona to disembark Spanish guests and French guests, because France didn't want to give us an opportunity to disembark French citizens. And for French citizens, there was a choice either to disembark in Barcelona and to travel with buses to France, or to go to Genoa and disembark there. But disembarkation was perfectly organized. So it was really Swiss perfectly organized, not Italian organized. There were buses, everybody had a ticket, so that, let's say, all the Swiss guests got 5 buses with distance between them, with individual protection, etc. It was really perfectly organized. And for guests from Germany, it was paid and organized by Costa Cruises. The flights from Rome to the closed airport to Hamburg, or to Berlin, or to Munich. So it was really well organized.
Great.
So Natalia, you had the chance to meet people who are part of Lions and Kiwanis, and I'm curious, what are some of the things that they talked about from their service organizations that were interesting to you?
Mm-hmm. Of course, it's difficult to describe all the difference in a short answer, but what I have understood, that for Lions Club, it's less important networking, which is very important for many Rotary clubs. For Lions, the first priority is service. And actually we planned another quiz about lions 2 weeks after our quiz about Rotary, but it was planned by 2 Australian Lions members who had to disembark in Perth because they understood, they booked the whole cruise till Venice, but they understood mid of March when we were in Perth that if they go with us to Europe, it will be very difficult for them to come back to Australia. Therefore, they should, like overnight, pack their things and disembark in Perth, and then they spent with their rent car and spent a week traveling by car from West Coast to the East Coast. And in Australia, the states closed their borders as well. So they were very lucky to come back home, even inside of the country. Therefore, unfortunately, we missed our quiz about lions, where we should know more about this service organization. And Kivanis, there was one gentleman from Switzerland, but he spoke only French. So it was, you would think that everybody in Switzerland who learned at school German would be able to tell some words in German. No, he spoke French only. We had somebody who could translate from French into German, but this gentleman told us very few words about Kivanis, that they do projects for children, and that's it. Of course, I learned more after when I came back home and learned something on the websites, etc.
Well, excellent. Having spent some time in a Kiwanis club, I really enjoyed the focus that they had, but my work schedule was such that I couldn't stay apart. Of course, being a part of an e-club and the flexibility that our club provides makes it a lot easier for everybody. I will wind things down. I want to say thank you to all of you who are on the recording. It is one of the great fun pieces of what we do to connect with these speakers that we get from all over the world, to talk to them about different things they have done. And once we finish the recording, we keep talking to them as long as their time allows. And so it is part of the perk of being on one of our recordings, that you get extra extended time with our cool speakers. Now, those of you who are visiting us from other clubs, other Rotary clubs, actually any club, you are very welcome to let us know that you are here. So by filling out the attendance form, you'll receive an email, and you can pass that to your club secretary to make up a miss if you are trying to keep 100% attendance, which is a great way to regularly get inspired in terms of the possibilities for serving others and the joy and meaning that come from it. We would also like you to add a comment in the discuss section, DISQUS section at the bottom of the page, where you can let us know what you think of the program. You can respond to other people's thoughts. You can look at other pieces of our meeting, whether it's the Learn Something New piece from Shags, or the inspirational video or word about what's going on in Rotary elsewhere, the great pictures that Keith leaves us, all kinds of great possibilities for what our meetings can be in terms of finding some way of inspiring others. So as we do every week, we hand it over to our speaker for the final word. And so for that, I want to hand the mic back to you, Natalia. Thank you again very much for your presentation, and we leave you the final thought.
Thank you, Rushton. So I just would like to thank both Rushton and Alexandra for spending so much time preparing me for this unusual format. It was a great pleasure to be with you. And again, I can only repeat my invitation. So if you would like to know more about Rotary in Russia and about our eClub of Russia, please come and visit us. Just last week, we have a Russian-speaking American Rotarian from Rotary Club of Beaverton. And of February, we have a joint meeting with in English. We will see how it works out with Rotary Club in Boston. So we are really an international club and welcome all the guests. Thank you.